Emma Harding Britten, born 2nd of May 1823 in East London, England as Emma Harding, was an English advocate for the early modern spiritualist movement. She is considered a pinnacle figure in its rise in popularity. Starting her working life as an actress, she had gone to New York in 1855 as part of a theatrical company, and then chose to remain in America following the show's conclusion. It was during this time that Emma's friend, who was heavily into spirituality, persuaded Emma to visit a medium with her. The spirit communication Emma received was an experience that changed her entire outlook on life. Emma discovered that she had a mediumship ability, and spirits made themselves known to her by table movements and noises.
Have you brought John with you? You said you would bring John with you.
As an ardent evangelist, she was at odds with her newfound powers and what this meant for what she had been brought up to believe. Nevertheless, Emma soon came to accept her powers and began to put them into practice. In 1856, Emma held a table seance that spelt out a message from a friend who died in the mail ship Pacific in the Atlantic Ocean.
I'm crashed. Help us. I don't understand where I am. I need you to tell Mary I love her. Tell her for me.
Though, when she tried to share what happened in order to alert friends and family of those aboard the ship, Emma found herself being threatened with prosecutions by the owners of the boat. However, this lawsuit was soon dropped after the information proved to be only too true, and the vessel was never heard of again. It was following this message that Emma became well known as a powerful medium. She was an ideal propagandist, for she combined every gift. She was a strong medium, an orator, a writer, a well-balanced thinker, and a hardy traveller. Year after year, she travelled the length and breadth of the United States, proclaiming the new doctrine, amid much opposition. She was militant and anti-Christian in the views which she professed to get straight from her spirit guides. As these views were, however, that the morals of the churches were far too lax and a higher standard were called for, it is not likely that the founder of Christianity would have been among her critics. In 1866, she returned to England, where she produced her two great chronicles, Modern American Spiritualism and 19th Century Miracles. In 1870, she married Dr. Britten, as strong a spiritualist as herself. The marriage seems to have been an ideally happy one. It is notable that she did not change her name, but instead chose to merge it with her husband's. A little unusual for the time, but a clear indication of the strength of her character. In 1878, they went together as missionaries for spiritualism to Australia and New Zealand, founding various churches and societies, which Sir Arthur Conan Doyle found still holding their own when he visited the Antipodes 40 years later, upon the very same errand. In 1877, Mrs. Harding Britten founded the Two Worlds magazine, which is still a larger circulation as any spiritualistic paper in the world. It was in this very magazine that Emma wrote about the concept of a national federation of spiritualist churches, a way to unite the various groups, churches and societies. It was in July 1890 the first National Conference of Spiritualists was held in Manchester. It was at this meeting that Emma advocated her concept for the fundamental basics of the spiritualist philosophy, which later became the 7 principles of SNU spiritualism.
Spiritualism is based upon 7 principles. The principles are not intended to be binding rules or the basis of a dogma, but to provide a moral and ethical framework upon which people can base their lives. The Fatherhood of God. The core belief of the religious philosophy of spiritualism is the acceptance of a divine energy. The Spirit of God exists within and around everything. It is within all of us. We are all children of God, so are part of one family. We acknowledge God as our Father. The Brotherhood of Man. We are all part of the universal creative force and therefore one family in God. The operation of true brotherhood throughout the Word would create betterment to the lives of many. Spiritualists try to understand the needs of others and help all people regardless of age, race, colour or creed. The communion of spirits and the ministry of angels. Communion with divine energy is a natural and essential part of existence. Communication between spirit itself and its creations is an inbuilt ability. Spiritualists use this ability for communication directly or via a medium between those in the spirit world and ourselves. The main purpose of communication with the spirit world is to provide the evidence which supports our philosophy. The ministry of angels brings enhanced wisdom, bringing inspirational guidance and healing. The continuous existence of the human soul. Spirit is part of the creative force and thus indestructible. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only change its form. After death, the physical body is left behind whilst the soul continues to exist in a different dimension that we call the spirit world. The individual personality continues unchanged by the event we call death. Personal responsibility. In His wisdom, God has given us enormous potential. We can use that potential to improve our own lives and the lives of others. We make the ability to make decisions throughout our lives as we see fit. What each of us makes of our life is our personal responsibility. No other person or influence can put right our wrongdoings. Compensation and retribution hereafter for all the good and evil deeds done on earth. As we move, making life choices, the outcome of those choices affects our soul growth. When we leave this earthly life, there will be no divine judgment. We will have the opportunity to reassess and decide what might have been done differently. Eternal progress open to every human soul. Eternity does not begin at death. Progress is open to all now. Any action or intent to change, to promote soul growth and progression, creates a positive reaction. There will always be the opportunity to develop and move forward. No one is ever deprived of the all-embracing love of God.
Much like her magazine, the 7 values still ring true to the basic spiritualist philosophy to this very day. She passed onwards in 1899, having left her mark deep upon the religious life of 3 continents, and having played a pivotal part in shaping the direction of modern spiritualism.